From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
Winners at the bar this time around, so let's say hello to my panel. Bees is up first. Killer Bees, what's up, Bees? How you doing, Coach? You are Coach.
Right.
Coach Bees. How is the early coaching career gone, and what have you learned the most from it, Bees?
Patience.
Ooh,
you know,
good
patience. You have to be more of a teacher, and you know this level of athlete is a lot different than what we grew up around. You know,
Yeah.
everything was. You know,
No
no
doubt.
water breaks, and you know, so now
Right.
you gotta
Salt
schedule water
pills.
breaks, and
Those were the days.
you know, 3
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
You know, doing the 6 inches. Remember 6 inches? The coach used to run around and step on our bellies,
Yeah.
make sure your belly was tight.
That's right.
Can't do that anymore.
No, can't grab them.
No
Can't
contact.
smack them. Can't do
It's a
it.
whole different game.
It is.
But it's fun.
It is fun. You guys doing a great job. What's the latest with the 99 Jags? You know, you're always doing some things out there trying to better the community.
Right now, my passion for golf,
Yep.
even though I'm not good, my passion for golf is just like taking over my life. you
Is
know?
it really?
It's like, it's a challenge. Like every day, or I just go to the range a lot and just try to hit a shot.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge, like, because I'm so competitive, you know,
Yeah.
every sport, I ran cross country, I ran track, I played every sport, but this sport right here is the hardest sport I've ever played, so it's like, I'm always on that chase.
Trying to beat the ball.
Always on the chase, and you can
That's
never
right.
win. So
Right.
That's why he was the best defensive back to ever play with
That's
the
right.
Jaguars.
No
Right
doubt.
there, that same mentality.
Yeah.
A gym rat, always
Yeah.
a gym rat.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
See, I'm a gym rat, but my golf's not good for my mental health. I just get upset or something. I don't know what it is, but great to have you on, my man. Coach Ingram's here. Jerald Ingram.
Great to
How
see
are
you,
you?
Tommy,
Two-time
man.
Super Bowl winning coach, Jerald Ingram. Show the bling, baby. You got to show the bling. Look at that.
Forever
Look at that
blessed.
bling. Look at that
And we
bling.
should have had one here in Jacksonville as well.
we should have.
it would
Maybe
been
even
3,
two.
let alone an extra one in New York. We
Yeah.
won't talk about what happened, but you know.
How does it make you
Good
feel
to
when
be
a former player of ours is into coaching and the things he's saying, like patience? Like you guys are, all the coaches are like, yeah, no kidding, patience.
Yeah.
He lived it with them, right?
You know, it's great to see, former players get into it, and now it's kind of like, see, all right, now you get the experience, like being a parent.
Yeah.
Now you're a parent is like, okay, the things that we said back then you used to fight, now you're saying it.
Yeah.
You've matured now into adulthood as a coach,
Yeah, right.
player, coach. And a lot of us coaches, we just couldn't get away from the game.
No, right.
We still love the game, though. I mean, we have no favorite teams. We just like good football.
That's right.
Things that make sense to us, to win or watch somebody develop into a great player.
Yep.
And that's the only reason why I got into coaching, just so I felt I could contribute to an individual.
Yep.
We all have our aspect of what we do to help us as a staff win.
Yep.
But, to watch a young man develop, to watch him, watch you. I had you in Boston College.
I know. I remember.
But you were the tough guy.
Yeah.
You were
So
the
tough, I
heavy
was
hitter.
puking in the barrel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
But we get excited about those things. Hey, if we could write books of the stories that actually really happened,
Yeah, right.
it'd be tough.
Well,
But you
listen,
love it.
I wouldn't change any of it. None of it. I
Great
appreciate
times.
every bit of it. No doubt. Even the hard times. Even the hard times. You
No,
appreciate
what
the
are you
hard
talking
times.
about? There's no hard
Yeah.
times. It's what you can do.
Yeah.
Coaching is what? Making people do what they can't do for themselves.
Yeah.
That's what
Hard
coaching
times
is.
meaning when you don't win. It's tough when you don't win.
it comes
as
with
we
that.
all know, right?
Yeah.
Coach Mularkey's back. How are you, Mike? Good to
Great,
see
great,
you.
good to see you.
NFL head coach, legend Gator, legend coach. Great to have you. So Combine just starts. What, as a coach, do you look for first and foremost, aside from what you've seen on tape? Is it really character? I mean, you're really just trying to get to know the guy?
That's part of it.
Okay.
I like, personally, I'd like to watch these guys when they didn't think we were watching.
Nobody's watching.
Like when they're getting ready for the 40, I want to see, were they paying attention to the starter? Do they have headphones on?
Okay.
Are they motivating other guys, to do better?
Okay.
I watched them. Are they first in line in the drills?
Yep.
Are they? It's a lot of the things you just, when really nobody's watching.
Yeah.
That you can get a lot out of.
It's got to be. I don't think people realize, like fans realize, just how hard it is to look at a kid in college and then see him as a pro and make that match, right? Because you just never know until you get them in, right?
Right.
You never know until you get them into the program and how they're going to be day in and day out. Because what are they doing? In the interviews, they're putting on a show. They're putting on a show at the combine. They're trying to look their
Yeah,
best.
the interviews were
right?
a waste of time.
Yeah, are they?
They've been so coached.
You guys all say that?
Yes, we do.
Really?
Oh,
No kidding. Okay.
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we got to the point we were just going to put them up on the board. And
Yeah.
really, that was the best thing.
See what they know football
we
wise.
didn't even- I mean, they'd already been asked about who's their mom, their dad.
Yeah.
Their brother.
Do you love the game?
Right, all those
all
little
that
things.
stuff. Come
You
on,
have
man.
15, you have 15 minutes with them, and you got to find out.
But
as
when
much-
you show the tape, it's like you say, you show the tape and you say, he can't lie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
When you actually say,
No, right.
what do you
Film
do in
never
this
lies.
situation?
Yeah.
How will you coach in this situation? How would you do differently? You know, are you a team player or not? You know, tell me what your worst. I know what your best games are.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you ask, tell me what your 3 worst games and
exactly.
Yeah.
why. You know, is he me my guy? He said, well, it wasn't my fault. It was his fault.
Right.
You know, that
No,
kind
right.
of thing.
Yeah.
One
Absolutely.
of my best questions was describe yourself using 3 adjectives.
Oh.
And usually when you're kind of put on the spot like that, you do speak, you know, really of
Truth.
how you think people
Yeah.
look at you.
Okay.
And first of all, I wanted to see if they knew what an adjective was.
Some of the best ones didn't know. Some of the best ones didn't know what an adjective was.
Yeah. What about the grind, Coach Campo, though? The grind, people don't understand the grind. You guys grind like crazy, you coaches. I remember Calvin. I remember being at BC, and his light was on. Like, we'd be coming home from the bars, and his light was still on. He's working at nighttime, you know, like the grind is just unbelievable. People see you on Sunday, and like, oh, what a great gig. See you on Super Bowl or whatever. Man, I wish I could be a head coach or be a coach. And then you're like, yeah? Well, you don't have any idea what it's like to get to that point.
I always looked at it as an example. You know, you try to show that you are there doing the work and doing it for them.
Yep.
You know, and to be honest with you, it is a grind. I mean, a guy like Dick Vermeil, for example,
Yeah.
ground himself right out of the league.
Yep.
So you have to use some common sense with it as well. You know,
Yeah.
you have to kind of
Balance
chill
it
a
out.
little bit. But
Yeah.
but I thought it was an interesting, both the conversation we've had already about. It's really the thing I'm excited about this new group coming in here in Jacksonville, which
Jags.
we'll find out, is that they talked about the intangibles.
Yeah.
The intangibles.
Intangibly
That's-
rich, Coach.
That's
Tangibly rich.
yeah. You know.
I know what that means.
We're all born too early.
Yeah, that's right. In a lot of ways.
Yeah, because that in itself, you know, when you're talking about what they do at the combine and everything, I used to like to see when you went up on the board, and I was the same as you are, put them on the board.
Right.
Not only what they do, but tell me what that DB's doing over there.
Right,
How much
right.
do they know the game, and how
Right.
important is
Yep.
it to them to know everything that goes on?
Okay, so new coach coming in. You guys have always you've been in this situation, right? So I'm setting the culture. How do you set? People hear that all the time. Like, I'm going to set the culture. How do you set the culture? Like, from day one, what are you working on to set the culture?
This is how it's going to be.
You're laying the ground. Here's the
laying
ground
the
rules.
groundwork. And they're going to know if you are legit. I mean, by your body language, your tone. I mean, they're going to. But you know, I can say, you go in there and you say, this is how it's going to be. It's a fresh start for everybody. And these are the type of players we want. And if that's not, you know, your
Okay.
style, we're going to find somebody that will.
Cool.
do
There you
that.
go.
And then
love it.
you actually do it.
Right.
You know, if a guy's not doing it the way you want it done, and you bench him or you cut him,
Right.
and you put somebody in there that is, even though they may not be as talented,
Right.
you're doing
You're
what
sending
you,
a message.
as long as you
Yeah.
do what you say you're going
Right.
to do.
But you got to be on the same page with the GM and the owner to do that, though, right? I mean, you benching guys.
Yes, you do. When you
Right.
come in, just like he's talking about, you have to have that power and say, no matter where you drafted this person
Right.
in the past,
Right.
just because he was a starter, but maybe he's not the team player for us anymore.
Right. Right.
We found out something that he just doesn't fit.
Yep.
But just like you're saying, the people up above, you know, in the scouting department and the ownership, they have to be on the same page and say, he's got to go.
Yeah.
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 We're not going to progress if,
Right.
if that happens.
Well, I tell you, as a player, because we had at BC when Coach Coughlin came in, and then Coughlin being the new coach, you know, here, you know, I thought of it as a fresh start. Like, this is great. Like, it's a brand new staff. I got a brand new chapter. I get to start writing again, and hopefully I'm the guy for them. You know what I mean?
right.
I mean, it's on both sides of the coin, isn't it? Did you ever feel it? Did you ever go through a coaching change at West Virginia or anything like that? No.
I mean, just leaving.
But just going to, like when you went to Atlanta, went to New York, right? You had
to a
to
different team. Yeah.
get in there and fit into the culture. How'd you fit into the culture right away?
With the Jets, it was. I mean, they already had an established crew.
Yep.
They would just go out there and do your job. That's what I always believe anyway, as a defensive back.
Right.
Just go do your job.
Do your job.
Yeah, and focus on you.
Yep.
You're part of a cog in the unit, you know.
Yep.
So it was easy for me. I just loved the game.
You love playing ball. You didn't mind working, and if they critiqued you, you're like, okay, I'll fix it.
It's funny.
Right.
I did a golf tour
Better.
a couple years ago, and it was Coach Nealon,
Yeah.
and he was in the group behind me, and I heard him talking to the group. Man, I've never seen anybody love to practice like Beasley. And
Yeah.
like to hear that,
Yeah.
it's like I never realized. I would just go to the practice like it was a game.
Yeah.
Come out there dressed right, and you know you got to look good to play good.
That's right. Look sharp, play
That was
smart.
that was the same
Swag.
thing. The two guys that I thought that epitomized what you're talking about was Deion Sanders and Michael Irvin.
Yep.
When they went one-on-ones, they never went against anybody but themselves.
Wow.
In
So
other words,
cool.
that was it.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't just going to go out there to go through the motions. Every play was like it was a Super Bowl.
Yep.
That was me and Jimmy Smith.
Yeah,
That's
there
right.
you go.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Okay, so looking at the Jags, the new regime, any concerns with lack of experience in their positions? We'll start with you.
I would say we'll see.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you never know. Maybe
Right.
they just changed the energy. Maybe there's a new focus and a game plan that's better than what we've had.
Yeah.
So I would say wait and see.
Yeah.
I mean,
What do you think, Coach?
I mean, I totally agree with the wait and see because, you know, it's just like what we experienced this last season. There were times, we'd watch the team and we'd say, hey, do they ever self-scout themselves? When does a quarterback, I mean, you watch Allen and say, I know he's a great quarterback, but he got every card he wanted in every formational look. That doesn't happen every week for a quarterback. You know, I'm like, did anybody self-scout? Did they do this? Does a guy fit the system? Does he not fit the system?
Right.
You know, it's where they're going to change the pieces of the puzzle and how does it come together.
Yeah.
And just because the fans think that this guy should be on every situation, we as coaches know that there's some players that are better at this play call. Well, put that guy in on that situation.
That's right.
Don't have the wrong guy for the wrong play in the wrong situation when you knew that was going to be tested.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see because they talk about how young the staff is, and and I was
Well, first-time
33,
head
34
coach,
at the
first-time
time. GM.
coordinators.
Yeah.
Baselli's even a first-timer at the
Right.
EVP position.
But we
Got a lot
solve
of-
problems. It's about solutions.
Okay.
Halftime, whenever it happens,
Yeah.
it's about solutions. Do they have enough wisdom or can they reach out to people? That's what's great about having Tony Baselli there.
Yeah,
He's
for sure.
been here. He's nothing new.
Right.
But he's been there. He's been in the trenches. He's watched this program grow.
Very well respected.
He's done his due diligence.
Yep.
And he's a tough guy. If we don't find a way to be more physical to begin with,
That's true.
I don't care who lines up at quarterback.
It doesn't matter.
It don't matter.
You're right. You got to build up front, Coach, right?
I had a situation very similar, and my first job was in Buffalo. First head coaching job was in Buffalo, and I had a rookie coordinators. You know, it's very similar. We started 0-4, and you really don't want to start 0-4 in
Right.
Buffalo.
Right.
Trust me.
Right.
They got the Bills and they got Niagara Falls, and they can only watch waterfall for so long. So it is. But I told the team too. I said, look, I don't have a folder that says 0-4. What are we going to do differently? I said, this is what we're going to do because this as a staff we believe in what we're doing.
Right.
And we ended up going on a pretty good stream. We won 9 of the next 11. We had to beat Pittsburgh to go to the playoffs.
Yep.
The year they went to the Super Bowl. But you got to have some patience with them. You know,
Yep.
it's just give them a chance. That's
Yeah.
all I say. Give them a chance.
Yeah. Patience seems to be a key word with you guys.
I
didn't know
always-
you had so much, to be
I
honest with
always,
you.
I always say that I look back at 1989. You had Dave Wanstead was 38, Butch Davis was 39, I was 42, Ron Meeks was 35.
Yep.
These are the guys that were coming in with no NFL experience. And 4 years later, you win the Super Bowl. So it all comes down to teaching and relationships and all the things that we talk about all the time.
And I
we'll
believe
find
that,
out.
I
We'll
believe
find out.
the character of that locker room's got to match what the coach is selling,
Yeah.
right? I mean, if you're going to be a hard ass, and you
You
better
gotta
have
find those
guys that can
players.
handle that, right?
Right.
If you're going to be more of a players coach, like let them do it, then you got a bunch of leaders in there that'll do it and not think twice about it, right? So that match has got to happen. So hopefully with Liam and Gladstone, that match is going to match up well, right?
And it's sales.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to sell. Everybody's selling. That's what coaching is. I mean, when you put everything together.
So let me ask you, because I know a lot of these guys in the staff, they haven't really known each other, right? You got guys, like you're a head coach, you're pulling in guys from all over, you're getting a staff together, and how do you? I mean, are you guessing that it's going to work? It's an educated, like that personality is going to match. Do you care if the assistant coaches mesh? You know what I mean?
I
Like
think
what?
you do.
My last job in Tennessee was the first job of the 3 that I could hire all my own coaches.
Yep.
I hired them.
Okay.
Not the GM had part of
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Not owners, nobody. I hired guys that I either played with, that I knew they believed in the same things I did,
Yep.
or I coached with. So we all had a relationship going in, and that made a huge difference to our team
Yep.
as far as buying into what we were.
And that's Jacksonville right now. You got a young head coach that hadn't been in the league that long. What did he do? He went with the trees.
Yeah.
He went with McVay, with LaFleur, with whoever it is, Halfley. And they all have a communication with each other, even though he might not have been with them directly.
Right.
He trusts the guys that were doing the recommendation, and that's part of it.
But like you said, making people accountable, and that's that's from the top down. But you brought up something a minute ago that's most important that we have to stress. None of us have been successful without having great leaders, either developing leaders or having great leaders. Mike Strahan was a great leader. Eli Manning was a different type of a leader. Brady is an extension. Anytime as a head coach you have a player that's an extension of your belief on the field, you have a chance to win. Because
Irvin.
you got 10
Michael Irvin.
players
That
that
was
may
him.
have been with the 49ers, may have been, in New England, may have been at Dallas Cowboys, have been with great coordinators, and all of a sudden they have to walk in and say, yeah, I've heard cover 2 before, but I've never heard it like that, and it sounds a little less than what I've heard before. And then you got to win him over.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But your leaders set the tone and say, hey, if it's 3 down, it's 3 down. If it's 4 down, it's 4 down. But we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I question if they have that in the locker room.
That's an issue.
Well, that's an issue because I don't care what
may be
he
an
says.
issue.
He said, you have to develop that.
Yeah, right.
Sooner or later,
Yeah.
the quarterback has to develop that.
Right.
What your position groups and your assistant coaches in those position groups have to be the leaders. He was a great leader for us in the secondary. Carnell Lake was.
Yeah.
Bringing
Oh,
Carnell
yeah.
Lake as a
Oh,
professional.
fantastic.
Certain players have that.
Yep.
Tony Baselli.
Yep.
With the offensive line and
Clyde.
Leon Searcy.
Remember Clyde Simmons
Yeah,
when he
each
came?
group has to have a leader, not just one leader.
Yeah.
You're fortunate that you have a guy like Tom where
Yeah.
he said, hey, this is how we do business.
I wonder, and then we got to wrap it up here, but I wonder I'll use Clyde Simmons as an example. When he got brought in,
Yes.
I remember being like, holy cow, it's Clyde Simmons. This guy's one of the best defensive players in the game. When he came in, he was an immediate leader, right? And you need those kind of players that were going to, take over and show you the way, And I don't know if players today, if the young guys look at the older guys like we used to look at them. Like we used to look at the veterans like, wow, this, cool guy or badass player, man, he's really tough. Or I don't know if the young guys today, I think they're in their own clouds. Like, yeah, whatever. I'm doing my thing. You know what I mean? Like, you got to. Is that true? Like, somewhat true. You got to bring that in. I think that maybe a younger staff will have better luck bringing that together.
Well, you have to show the leaders how to be a leader.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they have to conduct business in that way. If they're not consistent, the young kids aren't going to believe in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Players got to know you care about them.
That's
No
it.
doubt.
You can do anything with a
Yes.
player if you show them you hug their neck once in a while after
They
you get
know you
after
care
them.
about them.
That's why Boselli may be so important in this. Being
Yeah.
that he played, the
Right.
experience,
Yeah.
the high level that he
Good
played at.
communicator.
He could be that leader that we're talking about where
Yeah.
he takes the pressure off of Liam being younger and the staff being younger. I mean,
Yeah.
I think a lot of players will respect that gold jacket.
Absolutely, without a doubt, especially being in that leadership role. I know this: they all better be intangibly rich. That's all.
That's right.
All right, good buzzwords this week, huh? So they've been great. They've been great. Well, hopefully they all come together and produce a great product on the field. I know we all want that. Thanks, fellas, for being here.
Yep.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for the
Royalty, man. Royalty of the National Football League with my friend Bees, the coach Bees as well, and all these great coaches, man. Always a great time here at my bar. So until next time, stay safe, be cool out there, and go Jags. We'll see you right here on the Horse's Mouth. Cheers.
Cheers.
Foodies Care is a nonprofit organization here started in Jacksonville, Florida. Our mission is to support other nonprofits realize and carry out their missions. We're trying to simplify that process to have a local body that's here on the ground that says, listen, we're going to work with you, we're going to partner with you, we're going to give you the resources that you need to be able to do the work that is needed in this community.